Hi, everyone. Welcome to the 2022 Brown Bag Lunch and Learn series. My name is Dawn Coleman Lee, and I work for the Friends of Birmingham Botanical Gardens. And we are hosting this Brown Bag Lunch and Learn series in partnership with the City of Birmingham Stormwater Management, Jefferson County Commission, the City of Leeds, Alabama, Stormwater Management Authority Incorporated, Alabama Green Industry Training Center, Alabama Cooperative Extension, and Jefferson County Department of Health. And today we have our partner, Hannah Barris, who is with Jefferson County Commission, here to introduce our speakers to you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Hannah Barris with Jefferson County Stormwater Program. We wanted to thank you for coming into the Brown Bag Lunch and Learn series. As you know, that there's many partners, as you can see on the screen. Here in Jefferson County, Lynn and I and others work to help protect and improve water quality throughout Jefferson County as done by a permit. I wanted not to be remiss and to remind everybody that the next Household Hazardous Waste Day program is going to be held in April 29th of 2023. There will be 3 site locations around Jefferson County. Coming up in October 8th, we will have our next electronic and paper shredding event, downtown Lynn Park. And then again, another one in January 28th at the Birmingham Zoo. You can check out our website, jccal.org, for more information. So this is the 13th of 14th webinars that we're having, and we're excited for our speakers. First, we're going to have Stephen Todd, who was raised in Columbus, Ohio, spent most of his life in Miami and the northern Palm Beaches for over 33 years. In 2006, after 3 hurricanes in one season, they moved to Birmingham, Alabama, settling into a city where he loves the architecture, open spaces, and vibrant neighborhoods. He spent years as a docent at the Vizcaya Estate and Gardens in Miami, the Flagler Museum Whitehall on the island of Palm Beach, and was senior docent at the renowned Norton Museum of Arts in West Palm Beach. He loves architecture, design, gardening. His home in Florida actually won a photo contest from Scott's Miracle as the most beautiful yard from Stewart to Miami, his pets, and theater. He attended Ohio State University and is a graduate of Florida International University. He, along with Hope Long, I always do that. Hope Long, with the library director of the library at the Birmingham Botanical Gardens. I'm excited to know that I've known her as a personal friend. She's awesome. She came to the Birmingham Botanical Gardens back in 2003 from Hoover Public Library, where she worked part-time in the reference nonfiction department. She also worked part-time at Aldridge Botanical Gardens as membership manager, gift shop manager, and also jack of all trades. That has not changed at the Botanical Gardens. She was born and raised in Bluff Park, currently lives in Hoover. She graduated from Jacksonville State University in 1991 with a BS in education and obtained her Master's of Library and Information Science from the University of Alabama in 2000. 2005, she went through the Master Gardener program and loved being a Master Gardener, and she still is. The library at the Botanical Garden combines 2 of her favorite things, books and plants, and anyone that knows her would say yes. She's an avid gardener. She loves to grow all kinds of things, and some of her favorites include hydrangeas, vegetables, coneflowers, roses, and zinnias. She loves to do all kinds of crafty things, and she calls herself a serial crafter because she moves from one craft to another on a regular basis. The library at the Botanical Gardens is part of the public libraries in Jefferson County, making it the only public horticulture library in the United States. And to plug, they have a fantastic seed exchange program. So by all means, thanks, Hope, and Stephen, we appreciate you coming and excited to hear your presentation.
All right, thank you, Hannah. Give me just a second to, here we go. Steve is going to go first and talk about yard art. And I don't know if Hannah said it, but Steve has been a real estate agent for how many years? 35 years. So he knows a lot about what curb appeal needs to look like. So I will turn it over to Steve.
But the first thing I'm surprised, we planned this a long time ago, and I didn't know the introduction was already being done. So what was said was true. And I'm proud here to be here at the library, and especially Birmingham Botanical Gardens. The one thing they didn't say is I've moved way too many times. I've moved 11 times, as she said, from up north down to the south, and now back up a little bit further to the north for us. Moving is not easy, especially I'm a perfectionist. So when we talk about curb appeal for the house, since I was probably 10 years old, I've always loved architecture. I mean, I've loved architecture, gardening, design, and I used to fiddle drawing homes probably from 10 on until I became actually a realtor. I helped people buy and sell houses before I was an agent because I would see something special, and if the friends of mine were looking for something, I would often tell them about it. But the one thing you have to understand, curb appeal often is regional. In other words, we're in the state of Alabama and people like certain style homes. If you consider that you might be living or coming from Arizona, the curb appeal is different in Arizona as it would be in where we lived in Florida. And to take care of the outside, because I'm talking outside the home, the one thing that's important to me and where I suffer from is being a perfectionist. It gets harder with age. I walk out of a house and I pull a weed. I see something that's not perfect and it upsets me. But they asked me to do actually what would, if you're all thinking possibly of either buying a house or selling a house, and think back, I'm in my 70s plus years. In those years, we all looked, or we went to supermarket, you went to Publix and you got a glossy magazine, and that's how you found out about a house. And surely enough, would always show the front of the house from the curb on. Now, if you were going to be selling your house, remember, I'm a perfectionist, I'm a sicko, where the things I tell you, you listen to me. If you do it, it's going to help you. Everyone can't do it. Everyone cannot afford to do what I would say to do. Everyone doesn't have the energy to spend the time to do it. And some people just don't care. But if you do, the curb appeal is the first impression someone's going to get of your house. So that impression today is very different than when I began real estate, because you're on a computer. You're looking at a real estate site. It could be an office site. It could be a national site. And you're seeing the house, but you also can zoom in. So you're looking at things. If you're a perfectionist, you're seeing some things you like. If you're not, it might not bother you. But if you do the things I tell you to do, it's actually going to help you. It can help you, one, at either price, but also time is of the essence in the fact that if you want to sell your house, you don't want it to be for sale for 6 months later. So I created a little list. You see, I'm great at making a list. On the way here just a few minutes ago, as we're driving here, something that sounds dumb. A lot of these things sound dumb to me. They might not to you, but they would help. The mailbox in front of your house is normally painted black. Sometimes they're brick. But you understand your address is on that mailbox. So someone driving down the street, that's the first thing they're going to see. Spend some money and buy some Rust-Oleum black paint. The next thing you see on the screen, it says, I'm looking at a screen with glasses, I'm about blind. Mow and edge. We were just laughing a few minutes ago. Growing up, I would mow a yard one direction, and then I would mow it the same day the opposite direction because I like to see the lines in the grass. Now, everyone's not going to do that, but you want your house for sale and you want to sell it, mow your grass and edge it. It says pressure clean the walks. Go on to Google, not Google, go on to the site where you buy discount coupons, Groupon, because everyone doesn't own a pressure cleaner. But these are things, again, you have to remember, these are things that I'm picky about. Everyone doesn't see it, but if the walks are moldy, mildewy, ugly, spend a few dollars and have them pressure cleaned. Wash the windows. That makes sense to me, but not to a lot of people. Maybe paint the front door, because we're going to see some pictures in just a few minutes. And again, remember that people are going to be looking this on the internet. They're going to zoom in, and this is going to help you. This is curb, from the curb up to the house. The miracle thing in the South here, in Florida, we used cypress mulch. Here you use pine straw. You want to see a house that will be coming for sale, you're going to see the landscaper there the day before putting out pine straw, covering up all the weeds that might be in your beds. The next thing it says, take shrubs out of the, oh yeah, this, I see, I'm looking at a screen, people, so please apologize. It's terrible walking up to a house and you look up and you see gutters and there's a doggone tree growing out of it. Remember, you're trying to sell, not, you want to impress someone, not with the mistakes you made, but with the care that you've taken. Take those out. Clean the front porch. You know, you're walking with the prospect, and the prospect, you have to understand that prospect's already interested. Years ago, they did not have the opportunity to see the inside of your house. They were only looking at glossy magazines. So those people have seen your yard, they've seen your house, they've seen your bedrooms, they've seen your floor plans. These are interested prospects. This is not some stranger that, like it was 30 or 40 years ago. Lift. Oh, this is something I like. You bought the house, so some of the curb appeal was either you built it, you could have designed it, but some of that curb appeal was already established at that point by some architect. But then the landscape architect, if you had one, if you're lucky enough, or the builder planted something. If you're going to move into a house and you are going to stay 5 years from now, what most people do, and this upsets me tremendously, is they wait till they're ready to sell, and then they do things they should have done the first day they moved in. Trees do not grow overnight, and trees bring value. They actually bring value to an appraisal. So if you've got a mature tree that's half dead, versus a tree that's beautiful, but maybe just raise the canopy a little bit to bring some light in. Something that most realtors, all realtors will suggest the same things. I mean, it's not a science, but especially if it is summer or spring, have some pots and some flowers around, especially on the porch. Replace, oh, this is how sick I am. If you knew how many houses I went to, you go to ring the doorbell and the doorbell is broken, or that little round thing is missing. Today, everyone has Ring, so that's solving some of that thing. If it is holidays, you can do decorations, you know, I mean, to a limit. Don't overdo anything. Just, you want your house to look nice. And the last thing I said there is something special. There are a lot of homes today that are different styles. You know, we have here in Birmingham, it's a very interesting city. We're the magic city, so we go back a long time. We have old neighborhoods. We have glorious estate homes. We have arts and crafts neighborhoods. We have mid-century neighborhoods. We have all brick ranches. But sometimes you go to sell a house, your house can be aged from the outside. And especially in ranches right now, you're seeing people that are actually painting the brick. On the way here, there's a house right across the street from Birmingham Country Club. It was not an old house. It was probably 20 years old, red brick. It was sold, and those people actually painted it white. I actually called them. It was painted Benjamin Moore white chocolate. And it brought the house into a newer time period. Now we have some pictures next. Oh, this is something I like too. If there's a picture being taken, that's not mold or mildew on the walks of this particular house. It's an all brick house. It's got wood details. It's got shingles above, if you notice that at the roof line. It's got 2 front porches. The yard's beautifully done. The landscaping looks really nice. You could put a for sale sign on this today and it might sell immediately. This market we're in is, I've been around for a long time. No one's ever seen it. Homes are selling in one day. The market can slow. It could take more time, but a house that presents itself well from the outside, you're going to have that advantage because every house is not maintained the same. I've actually sold a house one time. You buy the house you like, you don't control what's across the street or next door. We had a buyer one time that paid to have the house, that's how crazy things work, that paid to have the house across the street done. But here, if you look at a lot of professional photography, people will wet their sidewalks, wash them down wet, they take better pictures. But the landscaping here looks good. See the mulch around. I can see a bird bath to the left. And let's go next and you'll see, I think, closer up. Here again, see the tree canopy raised and the miracle mulch, pine straw here. The bench in the front yard, the far left, there's a bird bath. Next photo. Color always helps, but color, here it's the old fashioned roses. What was the rose called there for a while? Knockout roses. When I moved here, they were no diseases. Well, the diseases caught up. And here's a nice window, brick detail to the house. The landscaping it looks very nice. Next photo. Front porch. This is where you really try to impress somebody. Brick stairs. I'll tell you something that's interesting because of the technology today, when you see a house, some people say they want a brick house, some people say a shingle house, some people say I want an uphill house. There are houses that are downhill houses, but something that happens because I'm in my 70s, late 70s, and I count the number of steps going into the house. And you'll see a picture in a few minutes where that could be important. An attractive front door, there's a doorbell to the right. The flowers, this obviously is a fall photograph. It's a welcoming photo. Next, bluestone, you see that? This particular house has two entrances. You can see there's been some watering done, the bird bath again to the left. There is a cage to the right of the front door, and it's got some kind of flowering plant that looks really nice. Next. Now here's an important point. If you're going to sell your house, you're getting ready to sell it, you've done those things, what you could do on that list. If you can afford it, if you have the time, the energy, or you don't do anything. If you don't do anything and the house needs work, it's easier to call from those Alabama power poles, we buy ugly houses. You're not, at that point, you're not going to get what you want. Sometimes people have to make those decisions, but here's something that is important. The agent often asks, do you have a photo of a house, of your house, when you had it looking nice, you had it all prepared, and in either the summer or the spring, not late fall, because leaves start falling, but here's a picture of a winter, and that's not a particular, it's got a beautiful stone wall, and the trees look gorgeous. Go to the next picture. It's not a great picture, but look at the difference. So I recommend that if you're going to sell, if it's not a surprise or a circumstance that wasn't planned, that maybe when things look really good around the house, take a few minutes. The camera on the iPhone is a miracle. It just looks beautiful. I love that. I love the hydrangeas. The trees are really pretty. Next picture. Now here's what I do also, same topic. We don't live in Colorado. We don't have ski slopes here. The picture's pretty, the house is pretty, but that might not be the house picture that you choose for your front page. It's got a circular drive. It's actually a very pretty structure. It's brick, it's stone, and it's hardy board, over there on the right, those windows on the right. So it might check the box for a lot of people, but remember, some people are looking for ranches. They're looking for single-story houses. They're looking for houses on bigger lots. So you want yours to stand out. All buyers don't buy what they say they're looking for. That's a real understanding. I remember when people like, we'll talk about that later because there'll be another picture about it. Now here's the same house. Look at the difference. That's the house that should be publicized. Same house, different time. So again, if you've got the energy or an iPhone, take a picture of your house when it looks the best. You can see everything much better this way. You can see also this picture was taken in the spring because those look like daffodils in the front of the house. Nice front porch, a lot of color. Next one. I love this house. Everyone, remember, is not looking for the same thing. Buyers will tell you they're looking for a certain type of house. The agent most likely would know where that house might appear. This looks like an older house, very welcoming. Look over here on the right where you see the lawns mowed, the walks are nicely edged. A flag. It's also good during holiday times. You know, put a pumpkin on your front porch in the fall when it's for sale. But that's a nice touch to this particular house. But notice the where the plants are near the that little not a retaining wall, but there's a stone little wall there. So you keep your mulch back in. It's a very pretty house, lots of light. It's what everyone's looking for. I would estimate this house is not newer. This is a 1940s house, I would think. With money, you can do anything. You can build a 1940s house today. It just your own personal taste. Next picture. I love this. Here's where some of the landscaping. Again, I'm showing you pictures of houses that I like. Everyone doesn't like the same thing. But everyone, when you buy a house, being it's your biggest expense that you might do, want to get good value, want to get what they like. And a lot of people don't want to do the work. That's the thing. So here's a yard that, in my taste, the hedges are too tall, but they probably look at the awnings. Someone added, not awnings, shutters. If you're getting ready to sell your house, and those, you can go to Home Depot today and buy plastic ones. And if you can't get the help you want, go to YouTube. I mean, they have a lot of ideas and the way to do it. Oh, here you don't need a mailbox. Look at the front door. It's got a mail slot. You don't see that much anymore. This is actually a local house. This is in Forest Park. I don't know these people. I'm not saying this thing, but this is only an example that when you actually count stairs. I'm not young. Hope is a lot younger than I am.
But I still
But
wouldn't want that many stairs.
There's a house for everybody. I mean, this is a center hall colonial with a lot of windows. Everything is balanced. Look to the right, it's got a wonderful sun porch. But, you know, if this was me, hopefully these people don't get mad. You know, sometimes a simple railing could help. Do what you can do to help the house in what you can afford to spend. Okay, next. This is one of my favorites. We lived in Miami for many years, you know, just blocks from Coral Gables. I'm not bragging, but we built a house for $179,000. We sold it. Miami, I couldn't handle the traffic. There's a lot of old Spanish like this. The same house, it was 179, is now $2.6 million because of location. But here is a case where I love the landscaping. It's just small beds. That's not a lot of upkeep. I mean, the grass is mowed, but look how the walk goes up. I like how it comes from the curb, one step up, you go up, then you go up a couple of steps. So the steps are paced. The house has great curb appeal. I love, love, love canvas awnings. The room to the left, I'm guessing, when you see a house, you try to think of the floor plan. Years ago, you didn't see the inside till you got there. Now you already know that that's probably a living room. It's got cathedral ceilings. You see a fireplace that's facing that living room. And over on the right, a wonderful garden with, look how the Looks like the walks go over to that. There's a gate. I love that house. This is fuzzy, but I put this in for a reason. This is like a low country house, something you'd see in Louisiana. I'm not doing a plug for someone, but I love the front porch. People love front porches. It's very balanced. It's very well cared for. There's that miracle mulch. There's the flowers welcoming you to the front door. I recently was out in Shoal Creek. It's a very expensive neighborhood, golf community in Shelby County, big lots. There's a house out there that looks like this. The people bought it where it was not in great condition, but the people had the vision, and they paid $800,000, I think. I'm saying that without knowing the people. They have great taste, I can tell you that. The house today is 2.6 million, just by making a few changes. So good, next photo. This is, I told Hope that yesterday, and she's a lot younger than I, but this to me is Leave It to Beaver or Ozzie and Harriet. That's how realtors often explain when we talk to people in our same age brackets. This I like because here's a case where you have a house, you're thinking of selling, but you need more space. That room, that area to the right, that house was built as probably a rectangle stone house, an older stone house, and somewhere during the life of that house, someone did an addition. That is an addition. It could have been done 40 years ago. Again, beautiful steps, beautiful lawn, strictly green. I love greens. And then at the front door, you see a little bit of color. It's really cute. I like that. Here's something that we see today. This is a transitional house. This is what, if you're younger and you're listening to us today, this house, without me being in it, I'm going to tell you it's got a very open floor plan. It's got children. It's in a neighborhood because you can see a house directly next door. It's a newer house. It's beautiful. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not meant for everyone, but younger families, where I live in a traditional house with a living room, dining room, kitchen stuff. Younger people today look for a different type of floor plan. And just because you have an older house does not mean it cannot be changed to that. Am I all right time-wise? Yeah. Yeah, 5 more minutes. I love this. Everyone doesn't want new. But when I moved to Birmingham, again, at a certain age, you look at it and you think, oh, it's got old plumbing, it's got that, it needs to be fixed. But here's someone that's loved a house. This could be your house. This house can appear in not Woodlawn, but Roebuck, the old Roebuck neighborhoods, or in Bessemer. It does appear, this house, I have no idea where it is. This could appear in Hollywood, in Homewood area. And there are people that only want old. Hedges are well done. Someone's added a window box. Someone took a screen porch on the right-hand side and enclosed it. Square footage means more value if you have air-conditioned square footage. Next. Look at that, just a simple front door, lighting, few plants. The grass is not the greatest condition, but it's mowed and it's edged. Here's a case where I would pressure clean the sidewalks. Now here's how I'll tell you about me. Every house I've sold, I'm not kidding you, I've set a record, and every house was sold to the first person that came in. But when you look at this, one of those houses I'm talking about, I lived in it 15 years. This is not mine. It took 15 years to get that vine to grow. I was living in Florida and it was podocarpus. I don't know if any of you know that, but as crazy as I am, it was trimmed with scissors because I did not like to see a leaf cut in half. I had 12-foot hedges and a spectacular pool. And I did win an award, a photo award, as the most beautiful backyard in South Florida. It's hard to maintain. So next. Now here, I'm doing an ad for, if I had been to Huntsville before moving to Birmingham, Huntsville has a beautiful old neighborhood, walking distance to downtown. This is on a tour. That's a gorgeous home. Next. Now this is not the real world. There's a backyard. I can see where they went with a lawnmower, but that's a gorgeous little gazebo in the back. The next one. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I understand it. I don't know who's listening, you know, because I don't see people. I'm used to talking to people I see. I look at that as being a nightmare. Um, you know, regular people don't live like that. Next, here's something. Times are changing. Construction techniques are changing. Styles are changing. Our planet is changing. 16 years ago, I considered putting artificial turf in my front yard. Nice. It comes in different qualities. And it was over $15,000 for a small front yard. I just stopped at a house because I like vines and they had vines growing, and the man was very proud and he wanted to show me. It looks perfection. Some people, it's too perfect. But let me tell you, if you live in Arizona right now, you're not allowed to have front yards. That curb appeal in Arizona, you have cactus. Curb appeal in Florida, you have palm trees. Curb appeal here is we're trying to get you to have a beautiful front yard and making it a welcome time to invite someone in to see it. So now this is, Hope brought this one up. I like this. Look at the top picture and you see a house. You see a house that, you know, I'm not rich, everyone's not rich, you know. So here's a house, it's got the hedges and things around it. It's got the wonderful shingles at the front door. And then the bottom, well, look where they've changed the house. These are simple things. Get your husband out and get a ladder. You see how the trim of the house has been painted green, but notice the top and the bottom, how they trimmed around the windows with the same green. Plants at the front door. You see the mulch there. You can see the steps. The door has been painted green. Only thing I see here is different. I would have continued the shingles down the right side of the door to frame off that area because that offsets it from that. Or is that, I don't know if that's part of this overhang. I don't know. But there's a change, a simple change. It's going to help you sell your house. So that's it. Oh, there's another. Oh, yeah. That's not the real world either, people. Here are some things I said at the end. Oh, there's some wonderful house tours here. IPC, Independent Presbyterian Church, has a house tour before COVID started. House and garden, well worth going to. Sanford University also does a Christmas tour of homes. Huntsville had there's gorgeous home in Huntsville. They have an unpublicized house tour. And if you call the city, they'll tell you where that is. I don't want to get us in trouble. Glorious Gardens was one of my favorite things here at Alabama Botanical Gardens. And they don't do it at the moment, or we're trying to get them to do it. Crestwood has a house and garden tour. 400 people came to our last house and garden tour. And that's a good thing to do. Here's a site I love watching. I love watching a site called Mansions of the Gilded Age. Go on to YouTube. If you like old houses, you'll love that. Okay, thank you. Good luck to everybody.
Okay. All right, now I'm going to talk about some yard art, and this is probably what not to put in your yard if you're trying to sell your house. I took a few quotes from Pass Along Plants by Steve Bender and Felder Rushing. They actually have a section in that book about yard art, and my favorite quote is, "Yard art is about unbridled rapture and fulfillment when you feel when you express yourself artistically between the front porch and the street." I love yard art. There's all different kinds. Now, this right here is what I call Hootie yard art. This is, you know, unless you win the lottery, you're not going to be able to buy this. This is actually a Dale Chihuly piece that was in at Cheekwood Botanical Gardens up in Nashville. This is another piece. I love his stuff.
Hey, Hope, we can't see your screen.
Oh, let's see. Oh, here we go.
We can see it now. Thank you.
Okay, here we go. Sorry, y'all. Okay. This is what I called Hootie yard art. This is the Dale Chihuly piece. There are a lot of botanical gardens around the United States that do, and you know, I don't know that I would actually call this yard art. This would probably be more art, but you know, I love his stuff. I'm going to talk about some of the different kinds of yard art that is out there. The first type is whirligigs, which is anything that spins, twirls, whirls, you know, when the wind's blowing. And, you know, this PowerPoint's a few years old, but I found some examples of some fun things that you can put in your yard. You know, the weather vanes, I love those. You don't see those very often, you know, the one on the bottom right, unless you're out in rural areas. But some of you know Jason Kirby, my coworker and our archivist. He gave me some spinning yard art that I believe he got it at Costco. And if you check out Costco usually in the spring, they have fantastic yard art that is not very expensive, that you can put up, and it's really pretty stuff. Garden gnomes, they creep me out, but you know, a lot of people like them. They are typically male, often bearded, usually wear red hats, and often have pipes. I you know, think they're funny. I love this picture because it looks like they're marching across the yard. You know, you can really have a lot of fun with gnomes. I remember years ago, somebody stole a gnome out of someone's front yard and started sending the homeowner letters, and they would take pictures of the gnome in different cities and then, you know, different landmarks. And I just thought that was great. They originated in the 19th century Germany, where they became known as, yeah, I'm not pronouncing that word, garden dwarfs. I think that's Gartenbeek, I don't know. But I like these. Actually, I think these might be ex-presidents. That's funny, I just noticed that. I don't know. This was something well, every once in a while you'll see the bathtub Madonna. I think I love that being called a lawn shrine, or Mary on the half shell, or bathtub shrine. You really don't see these very much anymore, but every once in a while you'll see one in someone's front yard. Yeah, bathtub Madonna, also known as lawn shrine, bathtub shrine. Now this is one of my favorites, and you'll find these in a lot of places. These were witch balls. They were used, 18th century Europeans hung them in their cottages to ward off evil spirits, witches, or ill fortune. Yeah, 18th century people did a lot of stuff like this to ward off evil spirits. I love these glass blown ornaments. It's probably, no, not very big. This is another example. I think these are smaller, like you could hang it in your kitchen window. In the South, if you've got glass stuff outside, if it can get water in it, bring it inside in the wintertime or it'll break. According to folk tales, witch balls would entice evil spirits with their bright colors and strands inside the ball, and that would capture them in there, and that way they couldn't get out and get into your house. I like that. Now, this you have to get off into rural areas to see the used tires. And this quote on here is, I think this one was a quote from Steve Bender. Used tires are as valid as anything else recycled for planting stuff. To say otherwise is pure snobbery, which I think is hilarious. I have seen some interesting things, you know, that's pretty fun. Yeah, this is, you know, you can, of course, I think that would be very heavy to hang. But I have seen people take stacks of tires like this and paint them like primary colors, and it actually looks very cute. Pink flamingos are, you know, gosh, you used to see this everywhere. I guess, were there a lot of people in Florida?
Oh, that was the joke with flamingos.
Yeah.
Now you see them with people with birthdays, their whole front yard.
Oh, yeah. But I still like pink flamingos. I think they're fun. Now, my favorite is the top left, where the creatures are running off with the flamingo broken in half. And then down on the right, you see it's kind of scary looking flamingos, which I love that. I don't know that I've seen pink flamingos in anybody's front yard in a long time. I think this is hilarious. You know, some people are very, very creative. That's probably at a school.
Well, that's expensive.
Yeah. Another thing is just Suncatchers, and something like this you can make yourself very easily. Now the beads that are in that can tend to be a little expensive, but you know, things like that you can make yourself and just hang it outside or hang it in a window. This is probably, if I had a wooden fence, I would so do this. I love this. It's just, they just took marbles and put them in the holes in a wooden fence, and I absolutely think that's gorgeous. Yeah, you know, covers up holes. This is probably a little bit more expensive. You've got a wind chime and a sun catcher. I love this. I think it's beautiful. And of course, the quintessential bottle tree. You know, nowadays you don't even have to find an actual tree. You can go to Myers Plants and Pottery down in Pelham. They have the rebar bottle trees. Or if you have a dead tree, you can actually go hang bottles on it. You know, nowadays it's a little bit harder to find good colors. And Dolores Hydock, she had a bottle shrub in her backyard, and she actually did spray paint on the inside of it to get the colors that she didn't, you know, because you can see there's tons of green and blue, but you can spray the inside of a bottle with spray paint just to get whatever color you want. And I love that they used to be called the poor man's stained glass, or joie de vivre on a stick. I love that. And you can get smaller bottle trees or larger bottle trees. These were also used to attract evil spirits. They would get distracted by the colors of the glass, and they would get stuck in the bottle, so they couldn't get you. Oh no, bottle trees oh yeah, they've been around forever. I love this. Of course, I would be, yes, this is very expensive, and I would be scared to death like something would fly off the lawnmower and break it, but I love this. And of course, gazing balls started out 13th century Venice. You know, these were also used to catch evil spirits. And, you know, I remember the first time I ever saw a gazing ball in someone's yard. I thought it was the weirdest looking thing I'd ever seen. It was something more, yeah, it was this kind, and I was like, what is that? I thought it was like a like something, what is it, the no,
oh, sundial.
I'm sorry, I can't think of it. But I didn't realize that they were used to put in a garden so that you could see somebody maybe around a corner, or so that I love that you could prepare to see the visitor, or you could hide from them. But I didn't realize yeah, that it was, yeah. Here's some other gazing globes. Yeah, the one on the left, I love that because that's kind of different looking. But they are purportedly to bring happiness, good luck, and prosperity to those that own one.
Stand its own hill too.
Yeah, actually, that could probably be in your yard and not be tacky. And again, known to ward off evil spirits, illness, and oh, it'll ward off witches. But I love that. That's beautiful. Now, this I just think is one of the most creative things I've ever seen. If I had the wherewithal to do that, I would make something like that. I think that is just gorgeous. I love, I've seen people take wheelbarrows that look like they're dumped over and flowers coming out of them. That's the easy stuff that you can do. Just some fun ants. This is just, I think, isn't that what they are? You can always take, you can make yard art or a planter out of anything. I don't know that I would want that in my yard, but if I had it in my yard, I would certainly put some plants in it. I love this because his crown is have those things that you would put on your roof, attic fan or wind fan. People can take leftover tools and parts and make all kinds of fun yard art. Love this. The eyes on that are the electrical. Oh yeah.
Look at that tree.
It's electrical insulators.
Yeah, from a power.
You can make. It's those are the marbles in that, or the you put them in a floral marbles.
Oh, yeah. I've always liked that.
Okay, I've got that picture in there twice. You can also take old, go to a thrift shop and find old things that, you can make yard art out of. I love this. Take an old boot. That's actually got blueberries in it, but I'm not so sure that blueberries would grow in a boot. Well, it's bowling balls. Yeah, bowling balls on rebar. I had a friend that used to get old bowling balls, and she would put a mosaic on them and then just rebar and stick it in the ground. These are Suncatchers that are made from melted plastic beads. I think sometimes they're called pony beads. This is made out of melted candy. I don't want to hang melted candy in my window. It sounds like bugs would get stuck all over. Yeah, you'd end up with flies all over it, but it is interesting looking. This is one of my favorites. I love that. That's just, yeah, I think it's probably, well, I would think it was Christmas, but I love it. This, somebody just took a vase, a bowl, and a lamp. If you've got a creative mind, or if you, just go out there and do Google images, you can find all kinds of fun designs to do. You can turn anything into a planter, just add some spray paint. Make sure you have a hole in the bottom. Take a hard hat. This one is another, that's a saucer, a cup, a plate, a wine bottle, a stick. Just glue that stuff together. I love things like this. This is one of my favorites, but this almost looks like expensive depression glass or something, but you've got a light fixture, a cup right there. On the one on, on the right, that's a light fixture. Take an old bicycle. I have a friend that did something like this. I love it. You could even take a toilet and put plants in it. I love this. I think that's a hoot. Of course, I don't think there's very many of us that want a toilet in our yard, but this is that the petals of this are spoons. This is one of my favorites. I think this is just fantastic. This is it's some sort of tool, but use what you've got. And here's some, and you can Google all of these. I actually made one of these and it worked really well. It's just a terracotta fountain. This one was a little bit more work, but it was fun. You can just make a layered planter, you're taking different size terracotta pots. You could grow herbs in that. I made one of these as well. I actually still have it outside behind the library. You can, like I said, you can Google these instructions. And these are actually little mushroom pots that I made. All you have to do is glue the lid on them and paint them whatever color you want.
That's the coaster.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, I accidentally put that in there, Trace. This is one of my favorites. This our former executive director, Fred Spicer, bought an old, it was a baby bathtub and made a bog out of it. That's just one of my favorite things ever. And that's it. And if you guys have any questions, Dawn, please let us know.
All right, let me check the chat in the Q&A. Does anyone have any questions? I have a question. Stephen, were there any things that you saw in Hope's presentation that you think would be okay if you were thinking about selling your home?
One of it looked like some of the early pieces looked like they were on bigger pieces of land.
Yeah.
In other words, if you live in a, there's a lot of planned communities anymore. And believe me, I've gone through this where they tell you what you can do and what you can't do. And but the first thing she showed when she showed Dale Chihuly, I told her a story because I love his stuff. But again, you have to win Powerball. But I loved so many of the things because they're things that are around that you can use. They're not appropriate for every house. It's depending on what.
Like the little mushrooms probably would be cute on a front porch.
Yeah. Yes, very much so. And all that was a small pot painted, and then she had the little drain thing under it on the top.
Yeah.
So that was very simple. I liked a lot of those ideas. Some I'd seen, some I'd never seen. I didn't know all about the witches' balls. But I love creative things. These are people that, who would have thought of ever using bowling balls? I love that one there.
Yeah, like these would probably.
I love that. I love those because I like the stand. Now that's appropriate for a lot of places because the stand is more formal. See that? Versus the other one was on a thing. This, if I had a wood fence, now those don't have to be holes. Those were drilled into there for that size. But think how pretty that'd be if an area that you're looking at and seeing the reflections of all those colors. I'm not a flamingo fan because I lived in Florida too long.
Yeah, these would be.
The religious things, there's something very, I don't know if it's just in Florida. They used to bury a statue in your yard. Remember that? You had there was some religious thing, and to bring you good luck when you were selling your house, you buried that thing. And that was supposed to bring good spirits. The Chihuly stuff is, we have a house we sold a couple of years ago. Chihuly has, like anyone that's successful making things in Florida, there's someone else who's going to make it less expensive. And the chandeliers in homes, but you're talking things like what's on the screen right now, you could be talking $500,000.
Yeah.
It's not the real world. That I didn't see you thought those were political.
I don't know, that one looks like Bob Dole.
Who's listening out there today? You say certain names and they'll say, who's that? But I didn't know anything about, you say that the evil spirits got caught inside that ball.
There's all kinds of
Interesting for houses is when you see a front yard, you see you're trying to make it more appealing to a lot of people. When you go to someone's backyard, you can do anything you want to do, and you'll see the personality of the person coming out. If your Hope is very crafty, and I admire people like that. So express your own likes and dislikes in the backyard, and don't have your neighbors yelling at you. That is a fantastic idea. It's where they took the wood fence, drilled holes and put. That doesn't have to be a big fence. You could do a thing on a counter you know, where you see the little small pieces of wood and do the
Mhm.
same thing as a piece of art.